Hi everyone, welcome to this next episode of Joyful Disciples, and I am super excited because there is someone in this episode that I am wildly fond of, and the theme is really going to be about this upcoming month of May, which is dedicated to Mary and to moms. So, welcome to the episode, and welcome to my great guest. Hi everyone, and welcome to Joyful Disciples. This episode is going to come out right in front of the month of May. So the entire month is dedicated to our most blessed lady, and we also honor our mothers in this particular month. And I thought, who better to come on this show with me this time but my own wonderful mom. So Mom, you want to say hi to all the viewers?
Hello everybody.
So we're going to get an opportunity. We're going to spend some time actually talking about our relationship, my mom's hope for motherhood, and kind of our evolving relationship. We're going to talk about my grandmother too, and certainly the influence that our Blessed Mother has actually had on 3 generations of women in our family. So we're super excited. I'm so excited my mom actually agreed to come on the show. Aren't you, Mom?
Yes, I was not forced.
We didn't force her. We didn't force her to come on the show. So Mom, let's kind of start back a little, at the beginning. A few years ago, what was it like as a new mom? Like kind of what did you hope for when I was a baby? Because I was first.
Well, she was just the best thing that ever happened to anybody in the family, and she came along like everybody was so excited, and she did all this baby talk, and her hands were moving all the time, and she never stopped. She'd go up to everybody and look at them, and she'd be all that baby talk, and my own mother would say, oh God, I can't wait till she really starts talking to find out what's on her mind.
And you know what? It's funny because those who are watching this who actually know me are thinking, well, that hasn't changed. We can just figure out what she's saying now.
Right.
So that's a fun story.
So she was a very exuberant baby, a very happy child, born like that, and just really delightful. And one time, my husband was renovating the front bedroom, so him and I were in the back bedroom, and she was in a crib, and my son wasn't born yet, and my husband nudged me, woke me up, and I looked at him, and he didn't say anything. He just nodded for me to look towards Donna's crib. And I looked over there, and there she is standing up in the crib with this great big smile on her face, rocking back and forth, looking at her mommy and daddy, and not saying a word. And we don't know how long she was doing that. It was one of the most delightful things that you can never, ever forget. It was wonderful. Oh, do I love my daughter? Yes, I love her to pieces.
And so it looks like I brought my biggest fan on the show. So thanks, Mom. But we're going to talk about a few things around particularly the influence of your own mom on motherhood. So while we're going to talk about my grandmother, I want you to see this really, really wonderful photo of her. She was in her 30s. And so this is 3 generations of women from our family. And this is Jenny. And she was lovely, holy. What kind of charism did we talk about earlier that she really had? It was around hospitality my grandmother had. Do you want to talk about her a little bit and kind of talk about what she was like as a person, and then also kind of how people felt when they were with her?
Yeah, I want to say one thing that's so important right off the bat. I would tell people, I said, I have no problem relating to the Blessed Mother because of my own mother. And some people would just look at me like, what did you say? But my mother was so gentle and kind, and she took care of the sick and the dying so much up in the country where she was from. And everybody still to this day talk about her. And what amazes me is she was so gentle and kind and everything, and made sure they were clean, and she was always making broth and those cooked custards that only the sick and the dying can eat.
Irish penicillin.
And I loved it when some of the men in the family, but the women too, they would watch her, and they always thought she didn't make a sound taking care of them. They always thought she was floating, which I can never forget. I always tell Donna, please write that down. If you ever get anything published, write about that, because I've never heard anybody saying that about anybody.
Yeah.
You're watching them taking care of the sick and the dying, and they're floating. People thought she was floating because she didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
She was so gentle.
And she really, so can you talk a little bit? So we have spent some time today kind of talking about what we would want to share with you today. And she was a great cook. Mm-hmm. She was a great baker. All she wanted to do is feed you when you came in. So everyone really was welcome through her front door. She really didn't talk a lot. She was this quiet, humble woman who served her family, who served her church, and who loved the Blessed Mother in such a wonderful way. So we really talked about my grandmother having the charism of hospitality and really giving that away as her gift to show love to people, to show God's love, really. And she was really devoted in her faith. And as my mom has already talked about, her accompaniment of those who were at the end of their journey. So really, and I got to participate in that as a little girl and was able to observe that. So she really was lovely. But can you share a little bit around kind of linking your mom and your relationship to the Blessed Mother together?
Well, she was a great example. Like, I could relate to the Blessed Mother, as I said before, so easily because of my own mother. And I had a lot of friends, and I met some of their mothers, a lot of their mothers, but nobody was like my mother. I wanted everybody to meet her, but she wasn't anyone to be out socializing all over the place. She was a very humble, sweet little person, being at home, and she loved her husband, always wanted to cook his favorite meals. She wasn't brought up with the kind of food he was used to.
Can we talk about that briefly?
Yeah.
Can we mention the one thing that my grandfather loved? My grandfather was Lithuanian. What was his favorite dish?
Pig's feet.
Yeah. No, I have to say I never ate that.
She was Irish.
Yep, never ate that. But she cooked it for him. Like, that's the kind of love.
And stunk up the whole house.
But she did. We would all want to leave when Grandma was making pig's feet.
Well, the Irish don't cook pig's feet. Not that my grandmother.
I don't know who does.
My other grandmother, my Irish grandmother, they had a gigantic dining room, and she always had a big sit-down dinner in this at 12 noon. And she always had roast beef and roast chicken and mashed potatoes and string bean. All the Irish food was delicious, And then you go down into town and go to my Lithuanian grandmother's house, and there was pierogies and onions and sausages and pig's feet. And very different.
So we had quite diverse food, in our family. So looking at Grandmom's devotion to Our Lady, there are so many pictures of her wearing her miraculous medal. I spent all of my summers, because my grandmother and my grandparents lived in upstate Pennsylvania in coal country, always going to Mass, always stopping by the shrine to Our Lady. So really kind of cultivating that devotion to Our Lady. And that's where Mom got it from. I get it from my grandmother and my mother. Can you share with those who are watching what would be your great sort of imaginative prayer, like what you would want to do for Our Lady? We've talked about this, the sweeping.
Oh, what I would do if I met the Blessed Mother, I would want to sweep her house.
Right. Mom always wanted to clean for Our Lady. Like, that would be the thing that she would want to serve Our Lady, by cleaning her house. So you have a little gift of hospitality there too. You have that too. So now that my mom is slightly choked up,
Donna has that gift.
Well, okay. So you bring your mom on your show, and you bring your greatest fan. So can we talk a little bit? So we have this statue of Our Lady in front of us here. So can you tell the story? So my dad died a long time ago in 1974. I was a little girl. So can you tell the story of this? And my father was a convert. So can you tell the story of this statue and Grandmom?
Mm-hmm. So we were going up to visit my mother upstate, my mom and dad, and my husband and I were going to take the kids and go up for Mother's Day. And my husband said, I'm going to go out and get your mother something for Mother's Day. I said, okay. And I had no idea what he was going to get. And he came back and he brought this. and it had flowers coming out of the back. And I was really surprised. He turned Catholic, but he was a great Catholic, as converts usually are. He went to Mass every Sunday, took the children to Mass every Sunday while I made breakfast when they got home. And but she was like, I can't even use the word. She couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that she loved him. His favorite pie was lemon meringue pie. Every time she knew we were coming, lemon meringue pie she made. But she was enthralled that he got this for her. And she just never could get over that and valued that so much. So,
well, thanks for telling this story. And that's why we wanted to make sure that the statue was in the episode. So there's a couple things now as we wrap up this episode. I am super grateful that my mom said yes to come on this episode of Joyful Disciples. Where do so many of us learn to be disciples? At the foot of our parents. And there are so many that make the decision to be an intentional disciple of Jesus. And some of us have our parents as the models, and some of us have others. So in this month, Draw Closer to Mary, in the month of May, I know everybody doesn't have a wonderful relationship with their mother, but it's always possible to have a wonderful relationship with Mary. So thanks, Mom. I love you. Thanks.
I love you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.